So we just got back from playing 3 hours of Assassin's Creed Unity. What did you think of it?
I've only played a couple of Assassin's games in the past. I haven't played all of them.
Yep.
But I felt like, this was a chance for Ubisoft to do something really different with the formula. And yet it felt like they didn't really, they didn't bring a lot of the lessons that they could have learned and brought forward from previous Assassins.
Really? What kind of lessons?
Well, things like the parkour style and like the controls still felt like, Arno, the protagonist, was a bit stickier than he should have been and like a bit awkward to control. And I thought that previous Assassin's game might have actually done that better.
Well, see, that's one of the things. Like, you now have a parkour trigger that you hold down with right trigger, and then you have a stealth trigger that you hold down with left trigger. So you can actually stick to cover while you're in stealth mode, which is why it probably feels a bit sticky. But at the same time, you also have parkour up and parkour down while you're holding the parkour trigger. So you don't just have that ability to kind of hold forward, hold parkour, and have him go exactly where he wants. I know we sort of found that when we were trying to parkour across the rooftops, more than usual, he was just sort of like not going where we wanted and sort of jumping off in sort of a random direction. I think part of why that parkouring feels slightly more fiddly is because the architecture has sort of a lot more detail per square inch kind of thing. So it's sort of like there are more elements to each individual buildings, and it's harder to tell what is actually climbable and what is sort of just detail in the scenery.
What we've done true to the air was break it down into districts. So that's the first thing. Each district kind of has its own flavor and feel, and that's very much where, like you mentioned, architecture, atmospherics, crowd composition, all of that comes together to add the feel. Global illumination was a big addition. It really added to the warmth and the feel of the bigger, more grandiose areas. But we also have, like I said, the smog and the atmospherics. There was a lot of soot and a lot of, feel in the rougher, darker areas, and that very much adds into it. So a lot of it's the ability to break the city into districts and then use those components, to come together to add the feel. It's not just, you can't really pinpoint one or the other.
So one of the cool things they are actually doing is they're implementing what they call a black box design to missions, where it's less scripted than previous Assassin's Creed games. But you still have things that would have been scripted. They're all now optional objectives that just give you sort of bonus rewards if you complete the mission while doing them. And we talked to the dev about this, and he was saying the black box design extends to both single player and co-op as well.
Everyone was always saying, hey, when can I play to your friends? And it's not so much as just having two assassins in Paris that, two assassins go kill this guy, cool. Well, how can we work together as a team? What are the kinds of skills and tools that promote cooperative play? And so it's being able to have those tools, those skills, and those gameplay opportunities, it is very much added by the addition of the black box. Having two people in a linear gameplay situation, is kind of constricting, and that, the benefit to that wasn't necessarily there. So it was really making sure that we were supporting it, so it wasn't just a component of the game, that it was something that people wanted to play and that they got joy out of. The shared experience can't take part in a single player campaign, but we do take the key components of the single player campaign, which is the black box, which is providing a goal, and how you achieve that is up to you. And we've made missions specifically like that, tailored to the online component of it, or the shared experience. You are always Arno, so are your friends. How we handle that online is that when you load in, you see your friends with a different face, and they see you with a different face. So you are always Arno, and your friends join as other assassins.
There's definitely a very high density of activities when you actually go through each of the different districts. And yeah, they're sort of bringing back a bit of that element of Assassin's Creed 2 and sort of refurbishing the city and finding ways to make that play into the actual revolution itself and the part you play in it.